the patient thermostat theory. Now, you may be wondering, what is this? Well, in this session, what we're going to be going through is exactly what is the patient thermostat theory, how it shows up, not just with patients, but also in other areas of our life, and how we can work with ourselves and also with our team to actually get through this and improve, and as a result, create an amazing clinic for good. Now, to begin with, what I'll do is I'll jump onto the iPad, and that'll make it a little bit easier. And I'm going to draw this for you because I think it's so much easier when we actually visually see this, and we'll start to imagine in different areas of life, how's that showing up? Now, to begin with, if we draw a line like this, oops, we start drawing like this, and it goes up and down. It's kind of like a roller coaster. It goes like that. And what we have here is we have the bottom of the thermostat and we have the top of the thermostat. Okay, and in between here is the difference between the highs and the lows, the peaks and the troughs, essentially. And what we're essentially looking at here from a patient perspective, and this is typically, more musculoskeletal type clinics. I'm a physio. I used to do this all the time, and I'll talk through my example here. Let's call this 50 patients per week. Excuse the terrible writing. 50 patients per week. And down here, we're going to call this 35 patients per week. Awesome. We know what that means. And what you can see here is that I would start at 35 and I would do all of the things that are important to get myself up to 50. And I'd be seeing 50 people per week, helping people, and I'd be on top of the world. But what happened when I got to 50? Right? Actually, let's pull it back a sec. How did I get to 50? How did I get from 35 patients per week, 35 clients per week, up to 50 clients per week? We did that because I focused on working with referrers, my client care, my management plans. Just every part of that appointment I was trying to nail, because at 35, I felt uncomfortable. And when I was uncomfortable at 35, I was like, geez, I have to really push forwards. Because if I'm not pushing forwards and I'm not growing this list, I'm going to feel like I'm failing a little bit, because to me, the 35 baseline here, if I drop below that, that was terrible. I couldn't handle that. And so what I did was I did all the right things. I did all my referral work, my client care work, my management plans. I focused on getting those cancels down. I would call people when they canceled to see how they're going. I did all of the 1%ers, all of those little things that make the biggest difference to our clients, the things that stop them from feeling perceived indifference. And unsurprisingly, in 4-6 weeks, I'd go from 35 clients a week up to 50 clients per week. But then what happened? When I hit 50, and this is, you've probably seen this before in yourself or in your team, when I hit 50, I relaxed and I stopped focusing on the referral work, the client care work, the management plans, the calling or the cancels. I lost touch of the 1%ers because I became comfortable, because this was my upper limit. When I hit the 50, that was the upper limit. I didn't want to go above that. I didn't feel like I could go above that. And because of that, I would then back off of everything. And I sort of felt like I'd achieved something. And so I took my foot off the gas. So taking my foot off the gas, what happened? It would drop down to 35 again. And then I would hit 35 and I would freak out. And I'd be like, no, gosh, can't do this. 35, can't go down to 34. I would feel like I'm failing if I do that. And so what happened? It was the referral work, the client care work, the management plans, and went back up to 50 patients per week. And what you'll see is that that just continued to happen until I realized the pattern. And once I realized the pattern, it was very simple for me to get up, to go from 35 to 50, and to sort of stay up around the 50 mark there. And that's the 35 mark. And the one thing that changed, the one key thing that changed, is I became aware of this pattern. The second you become aware of this pattern, the second you help your team to become aware of this pattern, you can get rid of it. And this pattern shows up in all areas of your life. Like, I'm sure you have looked at your bank account before, and you have your lower financial thermostat and your upper financial thermostat. And maybe when you've got a certain amount in your bank account up here, it's time to go out, it's time to buy a few toys, spend some money in yourself, go on a holiday. And then when it gets down to a certain amount, it's not zero for most people. Let's say it gets down to $10,000. they do not let that drop below 10,000. 10,000 is like zero in your mind. Like, I can't drop below that. And so you start saving, you start not going out, you start doing all the right things in order to get that back up. And then you'll see that go back up to here. And then when you get to whatever number that is for you, 20, 30, $40,000, you go, all right, it's time to start spending again. And you see yourself drop back down. You hit that lower financial thermostat, and then it's time to do all the things that help you to save. And so many of us just get stuck in this pattern. You can see the same pattern in your house, in your apartment, right? You're going to have a certain level of cleanliness down here that you don't let it get below, right? When it hits that, you're like, I have to clean everything. Maybe you'll get a cleaner and whatever it is, but you do not let it get worse than that. And then you get it up to a certain amount where it's really quite clean up here. And then you're happy to leave it played around. You're happy to leave, a few things around. You don't have to dust as much, and it slowly goes back down. And an interesting thing to consider is, as humans, we are really bad at just maintaining things at a high level. We tend to go through these oscillations. And the problem with this is that in business, these oscillations can really hurt us. It can also hurt our clients from a client care perspective, because if we're not consistently putting in the 1%ers with those clients, they're not going to get the best outcome. The people that see us on the way up here, oops, that's an arrow. The people that see us on the way up here are going to get better client care than the people that saw us on the way down here. And this is the key, I think, when we're working with our team, is we have to help to explain to them, well, what's actually going on here? And looking at the data, can we find that thermostat, that client list thermostat for how many clients they're seeing? And then can we look at what are the things that they do really well? When we're looking over here and we're going up this way, what are they doing really well? And when things aren't going as well and the patient list is going down here, what are the things we're not doing? And if we can really identify the pattern, we can identify the 1%ers that either do or don't happen. And we can help them to really understand from the client perspective that this client over here is getting amazing client care. And we're really proud of that. But this client here, they're not getting the client care that they should be getting, that they really deserve by seeing us. And if we can, instead of going through this motion, get up here and maybe it goes from 50 to 48 or 48 to 55 or whatever it may be. But can we change that thermostat of client care by focusing on understanding what drops off when things are going well? And that's the key question to be asking, is when things are going really well, what don't we focus on? And when things aren't going as well, what are the things that we focus on straight away? And if we can focus on the list of those 1%ers that we focus on when things aren't going as well, what you'll find is that you just get the most amazing results with your clients and that you don't see those dips over time. So if you're looking for an exercise to do with your team, this is how I would do it. What I would do to begin with is I would just look at the data over the past 3 or 6 months, and I would look at, is there a pattern? And if we plot client numbers per week and we take out annual leave and sick leave and stuff like that, but if we plot those, do we see it go up and down? Okay, do we see rebooking really good, client care really good, and then it drops off when they've got a lot of new clients or a lot of clients in the diary, and does it come back down? Okay, because the first step is to uncover the pattern. And then once we've uncovered the pattern, we want to uncover the reasons why and really understand what are the 1%ers that get us up the slope and what are the 1%ers that send us down the slope. And they're typically the same thing. And then we want to look at this through client care perspective, through our values within our business and our core purpose. And for most of us in healthcare, the reason we got into healthcare is because we genuinely want to help people. We genuinely want to make a difference in people's lives. And so when we're looking at those 1%ers we're doing on the way up, there is no reason at all why they shouldn't happen on the way down. And there shouldn't be a way down if we continue to do those 1%ers. And think about it from your team's perspective as well. A lot of them, but most people, they don't want to be quiet. They don't want to go down to the 35 and then have to work their way back up. It's a lot of work. It's a lot more work to have that boom bust cycle. So instead, can we help them to stay at the top there by helping them to understand, I guess, the leading and lag indicators that are going to help them to achieve this? So if you've enjoyed this video and you'd like more videos like this, Please like, subscribe, leave a comment. I'd love to know, what would you like to hear more about as a healthcare business owner to help you to become even more successful, to help more people, to have an amazing culture, and to create a clinic for good. I'll see you in the next video, my friends.